Meantime, let's get to our senior economics reporter, Steve Leisman. He's got some breaking news this morning on the Trump administration's search for the next Fed chair. Steve.
Thanks very much, Andrew. After rigorous interviews, some lasting as long as 2 hours, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has winnowed down the list for candidates for Fed chair to 5 from 11. And that person could be nominated to the Fed, though not necessarily as Fed chair, as soon as January. According to senior Treasury officials, the remaining list of candidates, the final 5, include sitting Fed officials, Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman, and Governor Chris Waller. That's along with Kevin Hassett, the director of the National Economic Council, former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, and BlackRock fixed income CIO Rick Reeder. It's a closely watched decision, obviously, with the administration providing unprecedented detail about the process, but it's also fraught because of concerns about the administration's commitment to Fed independence. The official said the road to a new Fed chair will include another round of interviews with Bessent, 2 senior Treasury officials, and 2 senior White House officials. It'll be wrapped up sometime after Thanksgiving, and a list will be sent to the president with Bessent's recommendations, obviously, for the president's decisions. This person could be nominated as soon as December or January to a Fed governor's job, the one likely held by Adriana Kugler, who has left the Fed, and then later nominated to be Fed Chair. Fed Chair Powell, his 4-year term as chair expires in May. He sits in the governor's seat with only 2 years remaining. If the person's nominated, the person in January, now occupied by Stephen Myron, it'll be a full 14-year governor's term. Officials said the secretary was looking for a Fed chair experience in economics, monetary policy, and banking regulation, and also has management experience. The secretary recently penned an essay sharply critical of the Fed, called for reviews of its policy, structure, and mission. Among his critiques was the Fed had grown too big and experienced mission creep. Question is, which one of the 5 fits that bill? And then, of course, the president's. Well, upcoming at 7:30, we have an exclusive interview with one of the final 5, Fed Governor Chris Waller. Andrew?
My goodness. My goodness. So are you surprised about what this list looks like? And is there anyone that you thought would be on the list that isn't?
Not really. Let's remember that 3 of the 5 have already been mentioned by the president as finalists. That's Waller, Warsh, and Hassett. So it's Reeder and Bowman who are kind of like the new ones coming over, and we'll see where they stand. My take, Andrew, is that the administration is probably pretty happy with Michelle Bowman right where she is as vice chair for supervision. You'll remember that yesterday she did an event with the Treasury Secretary about bank supervision and, of course, deregulation for community banks. And that's something that's high on the administration's priority list. So I expect her to probably remain in that job. Waller is interesting. I know that they have that Reeder has done very well in the interviews. A couple interesting things about him. Obviously, he's a frequent guest on CNBC. He's somebody who is read widely on Wall Street for his views on the Fed and the fixed income markets. He also has a management experience. But maybe one of the things he has going for him, of the 5, he's the only one who has spent no time working at the Federal Reserve.
But he spent a lot of time with the markets, and you can understand why Scott Bessent would appreciate that.
Excellent point. You know, Scott Bessent, I think, is a creature of the markets. He knows the markets like the back of his hand. I have to say, like no other Treasury Secretary I've talked to before, or we've heard before or seen in the past, is he really knows markets in and out and has very strong thoughts about it. And if you read that, 6,000-word piece in International Economy, you know he's thought deeply about the Federal Reserve.